Yeah, PlayStation rules. Fuck yeah. Sorry, I'm just a little hyped about this new theme. Previously, on my multi-part video series, Resident Evil, remember how scary it was? This happened. And we narrowly escaped with our lives. Anyway, yeah, that was just to remind you. Now that I've decided to make this series just a whole walkthrough and a playthrough, it might help to explain how I got, this item, so that you can actually watch these and know what to do. So, luckily I actually had the clips that showed me getting that item, but first I needed to get the dog whistle, which was in this room over here. And if you happen to be doing a Jill playthrough, this is where she also gets the lighter, because that's not her personal item. Her personal item is the lockpick. Anyway, the dog whistle comes with a memo that mentions some dude telling some other dude, "Hey, I'm afraid of dogs, but Sir Spencer gave me an important item, and I figured who better to guard it than a dog, because those dogs are mean." Anyway, yeah, if you watched again right there, this is where you use the whistle. The picture that comes with the memo shows you what area it is, and just to save you some time, this is actually where you use that dog whistle. But no, they're not, cute dogs. You know what kind of dogs they are. These dogs, though, in this game, I had forgotten that they're a little tougher than the dogs you have to take on in, Resident Evil 2 and onward. I think I know why. There is a difference between what are called zombie dogs and Cerberus dogs, or Cerberi. These are Cerberi. Now, some of you are like, "Oh, whatever, you're splitting hairs, what the hell's the difference?" I'll tell you the difference. These dogs at the mansion were actually used as test subjects and experimented on with the T-virus. So they were directly infected with the T-virus. The zombie dogs from Resident Evil 2 and onward were infected the way everything else was infected in Raccoon City. Just, by, well, first the rats and then the people, and maybe one of these Cerberus bastards got out and infected a regular dog. Another Doberman Pinscher, which seems to be the canine of choice for residents of Raccoon City. I don't know if that was like a city ordinance. Mayor was just like, "I, Mayor Michael Warren of Raccoon City, hereby submit Proposition K9, which states that all canines bought or owned within the city limits be limited to the Doberman Pinscher. I find them to be the most loyal of companions and the most majestic of breeds." Yeah, I mean, what else? What else is it? I mean, the only dog you see in any of the Resident Evils is the Doberman Pinscher. Now, I'm not talking about Resident Evil 4, where you had those wolf parasite sons of bitches that were tough. Anyway, this is what you use the that imitation of a key for, to actually get the real armor key from this trap. Because if you set off the trap and don't have anything else to put in its place, or you just don't put the key back, you'll get crushed. And it's ugly. Not as ugly as, any of Leon's deaths in Resident Evil 4. That was one thing I liked about that game. I mean, I love Leon. Leon's a great character. But, man, that game had no respect for him whatsoever. He died brutally. Anyway, Moving ahead a little bit, you get that key. The armor key is needed for a lot of doors. The sword key I got from that arrow tip that I told you about earlier. That goes into the graveyard, which is the door that doesn't look like a door. It's in the foyer, the main entrance. It's one of the areas that was added to this game as opposed to the original. It'll come up here later if you don't know what I'm talking about, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Anyway, you put the arrowhead in a place on a tombstone, and it gives you the sword key. So that's where I got the sword key from, but sadly I didn't have a clip of it. Yeah, remember these? Remember the ravens? Yeah. It's funny, I actually am playing the original, well, not the original, but Resident Evil Director's Cut on my PlayStation 3 and my Vita, and that's really just refresh my memory on some of the changes. And man, you look at that game now, and God, it does not hold up to what we remember it as. If you're like me and played it back in, '96, because yeah, you'll recognize a lot of these rooms, but I don't know. We held it in much higher esteem. This hallway didn't look nearly as intimidating as this does right here. That's one of the reasons I love this remake so much. Okay, and this clip here is actually the first one that I made this year, jumping back into this game. And I had mentioned in my Resident Evil 0 video that I didn't like the changing of the run button, being circle and everything, because from the very beginning, when I played this game for the first time, this HD remastered PS4 version of this game, I was dedicated to the tank controls. I know a lot of people, especially you younger guys, like, you'll play a game like this and you'll hate the control scheme. You'll wonder why the fuck we put up with it. But when Resident Evil came out, it was 1996. We didn't even have the DualShock controller. We didn't have the two sticks. We had a D-pad, and we had the buttons, and the nice little innovation of two shoulder buttons on each side: R1, R2, L1, L2. So yeah, I was committed to the tank controls, but just out of spite, I used the analog stick in Resident Evil 0. And, I kind of got used to it. I mean, it was, on the one hand, being able to control your character so well in a classic Resident Evil game is almost like cheating, because part of what added to the suspense was knowing that your character can't really move very fast. And remember, the 180 turnaround didn't even get implemented until Code Veronica and Resident Evil 3. I mean, so even, Resident Evil 2, widely regarded as the greatest of the classic Resident Evils, it didn't have 180 turnaround either. So, but I want you guys to know, if there's anyone, maybe my age or older, who is still going to be committed to tank controls, you can keep the alternate control style activated, and you can still use the D-pad tank style and still use, the square button to run. So, and that's really awesome, because yeah, I could do that in Resident Evil 0, but I assumed you couldn't. I thought it was one way or the other with this game, but it's not. So keep the alternate one on there, and again, you can use the D-pad tank control style and use the analog stick to just move wherever the hell you want. I do, again, stress the warning that I stressed in Resident Evil 0, that the sudden camera change angles can be disorienting if you're not used to fixed camera angles like this. Again, though, if you did play Devil May Cry 1, you'll be kind of familiar with it already. So for precision, I still, for the most part, use the tank controls. I use them a lot in combat too, because they're a little bit more precise. But using the analog stick, and it's full analog control, you don't have to hold down a run button if you're using the stick. You just move the stick all the way. That was one reason I like the controls in 6, because they finally didn't make me hold down a button just to run. And they even added a sprint by holding a button, so that was cool with me. But enough about that. You didn't click on this video just to hear me talk about the controls. You came to watch a walkthrough, so let's go cause some trouble. Okay, and this is Chris's unique defensive item. Both Chris and Jill have their own unique defensive items in addition to the dagger. Chris's is better. That's a flash grenade. I know it looks like a hand grenade from Resident Evil 4, but it's actually, it does what the blue one does in Resident Evil 4. And I'll use it later. Jill uses battery packs to put into her stun gun, and that's pretty cool too, but Chris's is by far the better one. And this is a new hallway we haven't entered before, obviously, so you gotta check your map to see what doors are open, which ones you can go into now, and which ones you can't. And that guy's dead. So let's look around. Yeah, and you always make sure you lock on with R1. If it does lock on, he's alive and playing dead. If it doesn't, well, you know he'll come back eventually, so we're gonna have to burn him. Oh god, somebody's alive in there. I'll get you out, hang on. Ooh, a diary. Yeah, hang on just a second, pal. I see an open diary here. Let's find out what this kind of stupid shit this guy wrote down. In all seriousness, though, this diary is kind of famous. It's one of the more famous Resident Evil files. This is the one with the keeper, the dog, keeper guy, and he is slowly infected with the T-virus, and you begin to see his degeneration in his writing and the things he says. This is the Itchy Tasty diary entry. They actually added a few lines to this one just to make it more realistic. I mean, the other one was fine too, but they added some meat onto this diary entry. So anyway, the 20th anniversary PlayStation theme goes along perfectly with Resident Evil, which is also now 20 years old. Which means I've been kicking all this ass for 20 years now. That's right. But anyway, this is actually the best year to get into Resident Evil. If you hadn't played the other ones, because Capcom just announced that they're going to re-release 4, 5, and 6 remastered for PS4 and Xbox One. Yeah, again, some of them have already been remastered, especially Resident Evil 4, oh my god. But they're going in reverse order, though. Yeah, 6 is released later this month, 5 sometime in the summer, and 4 in the fall. Yeah, I know. I'll get more into that later. See, there you go. Itchy Tasty. That was a fascinating read. Nothing stupid, though. I was kind of hoping to find something embarrassing, but we should. Yeah. You want me to go check out the closet, don't you? All right, fine. I will. Ooh, an old key. Okay, now we can open the door with the broken shotgun after we kick some ass. And it sounds like Scott got up too. That must have been Scott, the guy whose face he ate. Yeah. Oh, but he's still locking on, so he's still alive. There we go. Okay, so I didn't headshot either of them. So we're going to make sure we got everything in this room. and then we're gonna get the hell out, and then we're gonna not come in here ever again. Okay, because there'll be crimson heads for sure. So yeah, the map will actually tell you if in any given room if you've found every item in it. It'll be red. It has in the corner like a little legend how many rooms have been 100% completed. So now that we know that we got everything, yeah, we're not coming back. Fuck those guys. Okay, yeah, anytime you unlocked a door, you've probably been to the area beyond that door, but it was locked before. Okay, now we know where that is. That was the zombie that killed Kenneth. Oh, but just a slight correction. The room won't be red on the map. It'll be like beige color. It's red when you still haven't discovered everything. So some of you guys know what room this is right before we even enter. It's pretty famous too. In the original game, this is where you put the red jewel and the tiger statue to get the Colt Python, the Magnum. Not so in this version of the game. You put the blue gem and the yellow gem in the eyes for different items. Now, there is still a red jewel in this game, but if you put that jewel in the tiger eye, some snakes drop down. It's booby trapped. And that's just a nice little nod from Capcom, you know, to you guys who, like myself, who played the original. Yeah, check out the shadows. You see those zombies in the windows? Just kind of tapping on the window. You know what I hate about you zombie bastards? I hate that you're too dumb to know that it should be you trying to avoid me. That I am the threat to you. That I am the monster here. You know, and maybe that's what these games are about, you know? About the evil that is resident in all of us. The evil that resides within oneself. That's what I think. Okay, so this is the plant room, obviously. We don't have the chemical to poison the plant yet, though. So we're leaving. Yeah, we'll meet again, you zombie bastards. Anyway, yeah, so, you know, 4, 5, and 6 are getting remastered. And, I mean, it makes me pretty happy. 6, other than a graphical awesome upgrade, there's not much that that will improve that game. And I know some of you are snickering because so many people hated it, but I enjoyed it, but I also regretted where the series was going. There's another flash grenade. Yeah, I mean, everyone seems to agree Leon's campaign was the shit in Resident Evil 6, and yeah, it was. But it was Chris's campaign where we began to see some problems. It became more of a, it really just became more of a shooter. I mean, yeah, we were fighting mutated C virus infected enemies, but, you know, they all had guns for the most part, and it was regrettable. So yeah, other than, you know, the graphics and, I don't know, maybe taking all the enemies away from, taking all the guns away from the enemies, and, I don't know, maybe amping their strength. Yeah, we're skipping ahead there. My inventory was full. I couldn't get the shotgun, and I wanted to spare you me having to trek back to the item crate. So now we have the broken shotgun, and now we can go get the shotgun. We don't need Barry to save us. We're finally gonna get that shotgun. Resident Evil 5, though, I can immediately think of what it needed, and that's the ability to move while you're aiming. Now, when I played Resident Evil 5, I just put it on the Resident Evil 4 controls. Yeah, they were a little bit more restrictive, but they really half-assed. They met you halfway. I mean, the people that wanted shooter controls, yeah, they gave you the ability to strafe and everything, but you still couldn't move while you're aiming. So if they made that game control like the first Resident Evil Revelations, I'd be happy. Yeah, this guy just took forever to come down the stairs. Come on. Come on. Seriously? Yeah, combat, using the analog stick is useful too, because it really helps you dodge around them easier, assuming there's not a quick camera change in the vicinity, because you could run right into a zombie. Yeah, playing dead, huh, you bastard? But yeah, Resident Evil 5, yeah, just make it control like Resident Evil Revelations 1. Speaking of which, if you are one of those people that, you know, lost faith in Resident Evil after 5 or 6, you should definitely hunt down Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2, because that is proof that Capcom still knows how to make a pretty intense Resident Evil game. With Resident Evil 5, I think Dead Space was before Resident Evil 5, if I'm not mistaken. It was released before Resident Evil 5. But Dead Space proved that you could give a game, you know, that takes place over the shoulder, third-person shooter controls, and still be scary as hell. Alright? Dead Space proved that. And they should have, you know, taken a hint from that they could have given Resident Evil 5 third-person shooter controls, and it would have been the shit, because it actually was a pretty awesome co-op experience. And for the record, I'm not a PlayStation fanboy or anything. I have all the Xboxes that ever were, and honestly, Resident Evil 5 and 6 look better on Xbox 360. They just did. Oh shit! Fuck! Up! Why don't you have a flash grenade, asshole? Boom! Can't believe you betrayed me. Just stood there looking in the mirror the whole time, and I left him alone. He seemed peaceful. He seemed at ease. Then he goes and does that at the worst possible time. Anyway, that was the guy that was, you know, that came back as a Crimson Head. This is what happens, too, when you don't deal with enemies. Of course, if you're badass like me, you can handle it just like I did. And just, you know, be a badass. So one of the things you do every time you pick up a key is, well, check your map, but all the red doors on the map will tell you that they're locked. Sadly, it doesn't tell you if you can now open them. So you gotta go try all the red doors that were locked once you have a new key. And if you can get to all of them, do it, because the sooner you can discard the key, because you won't need it anymore, the better. I mean, inventory's tight already enough as it is. So we're going around to open all the doors that we can. And there's good old Kenneth, jumped on by a zombie. Poor bastard. You know, I don't even know what the hell I'm gonna tell his wife. I mean, what do you say when something like that happens? Yeah, we're still not gonna kill that zombie. It's unnecessary right now. But yeah, what do you say to somebody like that? I mean, she's got 2 other kids she's got to take care of on her own now, and another one on the way. You know what? We are gonna go kill that zombie. Fuck this guy. We're gonna get justice for Kenneth. Yeah. Come on, you son of a bitch. How's that feel? Huh? Yeah. Take that. That was for Kenneth, you piece of shit. Now he can tell his wife that we got the bastard. We got the bastard that took her husband from her. Burn, motherfucker. Alright, so now that we have what we need to get here, I think some of you guys will remember this too. This is the piano room. The piano room, I'm sure you remember, unlocks a secret compartment when you play Moonlight Sonata. Yes, we definitely need those ink ribbons because we are fucking out. That was the thing about this game too. I mean, on normal, you know, you tend to run out of ink ribbons a lot. Well, maybe your first playthrough anyway, because your first playthrough you're always kind of like, I don't know what's coming up. It could be a boss. Maybe I should save it now, or should I save after I kill the boss? You just never know. I mean, and we're empty. All right, there's one last thing we want to do. We're gonna jump ahead a little bit, and that's I'm gonna apologize to Stan. You know, he deserves it. Stan, you in there? You alive? Again? Look, I just wanted to say that I'm sorry. You were treated unfairly. You got a raw deal. I shouldn't have done what I did to you. Stan, you there? Oh, you're still dead. Well, that's anticlimactic. Ah. Well, bon voyage, Stan. You deserved better than what life gave you. Alright, tune in next time.